Hello and welcome, I'm Crispy and I'm going to be doing a wheel bearing today. Now, how do you know that your wheel bearing's gone? Well, it's really noisy for a start. On the way home, there's quite a way to go. Because these don't have any play side to side, because it's not a taper roller bearing. It's actually a ball bearings, or sometimes two sets of ball bearings, so they're actually round, so you don't have any side to side play. But when they go, you can feel the unevenness as it spins, or the roughness, and that's how it would be on your MOT certificate. So we're going to spin that up and just put our hand on a section of the chassis on the back of it's going to be on the trailing arm on this one. And we're just going to feel for that vibration. Well, you can do that on all four wheels to work out which one's not the right one. And you're sure it's one side, and then you get it inspected, you spin all the wheels, and it's the opposite side. So don't just dive in there going from what you can hear in the driver's seat. So what we're going to do, we're going to spin it. Sometimes you can hear it while you're doing this. You just put your hands on the chassis, you can actually feel the vibration. Now I've got that all stripped down, ready to come off. It's all about this wheel bearing. I wanted to show you how to get this out without really needing any specialist tools, just be able to do it by yourself. Unfortunately, I could not work a way out of doing it without having a specialist tool, so I've had to go and lend one. So this is the wheel bearing, and this is why you need a specialist tool. See these little one-way, that is basically a one-way clip. There's no bolts that go through the middle that hold it. It seems to be both the same part number for the front and rear. That's why it's got the splines for the drive shaft. Or if you had a four-wheel drive one, you'd have rear drive shafts in there. So that seems simple enough, doesn't it? Now, the specialist tool, I don't know how to use, so I'll run through all the bits that I've got. Luckily it comes with some instructions, but we don't look at those, do we? So the first thing you need to do is actually pull this out. So to pull it out, it looks like there's got two little clamping pieces that sit on the body, and then you push against it to pull it out. Essentially got to put it. Bar, pins sit in there. It sits against the back plate. That goes in that way, and then that turns on there. So essentially what you're doing is dragging that bit out. We're just going to wind this up and see what happens. That should just drag it out, he says. I'm actually going to buy myself a socket, 22mm. Oh, the heartbreak. Never mind. The wind's getting up as well now. Against there, which locks onto the body and gives you a pressing surface to go against. So then you're basically winding this up, pulling that up, pulling this bit closer to there, so it's drawing it out. You can see those teeth, can't you, there? That's just all caught. ABS sensors still in one piece. To install seems to be the opposite way of doing it. Right, this is the main thing. This is why you can't just press it in, with that special cap that sits over there. So it's actually pushing it in, not from the race of the bearing, but from the actual one-way clip that's on there, and it's pressing it in from the back. So we're going to mount it that way. These pins are still going to be there as a guide, but we're going to do it the opposite way. that this on the T5 has got a little adapter plate that sits at the back. Yeah, that's the way it goes. So it sits at the back of the bearing. That sits nicely around the back of just in front of where the ABS sensor is. And then that goes on there, and we basically just wind that in until it clips. Sounds simple? Let's see. Can make it a little bit easier to take off, but we don't want any on the pickup ring. There's two little dimples cut which do tally up with two little dimples on there. Now let's try and get them in. Together. In through the holes. Away we go. And this is where you need a glamorous assistance. I've already put some lube on the other side of where this goes. Wind it up by hand. And hopefully this should just drag it in nice and squarely. No, that's not square. Try it again like that. That looks better. Because if you can't get it square, don't even attempt. I'm going to undo it, how far in it was, and see whether it was on the way home. It's quite a way to go. It just started to press on there, so I need to power on past that centimetre left to go on this. So it's going to get a lot harder as it's forcing those clips in, because they're quite a strong bit of steel there. Just remember to keep your tool well truly lubricated. Almost there though, almost. Let's have a little look. Just see it's on the edge there. So we've got that far to go. Doing it without one of these tools is going to be nigh on impossible. Only because of those spring clips. Again, I can't emphasise how much those spring clips. So I'm going to run through the tools fitted to the old one. But you can feel the difference in the resistance there. Wow. Okay. So to install, we've basically got the pins, the support plate that goes through the wheel bolts. You've got the backing plate, which is the one that goes onto the bearing that pushes in the disc, and then you've got this bit that mounts to the back of the hub. There's two plates. I'm guessing that's a T4 style, and that because it comes with a T5 adapter, and that just winds it up and drags that in. Pretty much the same, apart from you using the different locking plate. So that locking plate, instead of sitting against the bearing, is big enough to allow the bearing to come through the middle of it, and it sits on the hub. And then you put that bit in, which is smaller than that bit. So that sits on the inside of the bearing. As you can see, the inner race just, never mind, sits on there. So as you decrease the length of the bar, it actually drags the centre bit out, having that as a fixed point, so it's allowing that to pull through. So that's basically how you do it, and it's, again, you would not be able to do it without these tools. So a big thank you to Simon at Central VW, who has kindly lent me all these. If you need any work doing in the northwest or even beyond, there's not much he doesn't know about VWs, old and new. If you want a really fast Mark II building, he's probably the man. And before you ask, no, he doesn't rent out these tools, he doesn't lend these tools. It's a special one-off occurrence. He knows me very well. So thank you once again, and I'm going to get these cleaned up, get them back to you. And if you've got a T5 or any VW and you're interested in this sort of stuff, remember to share, like and subscribe. Mostly subscribe, because it's the only thing that keeps me motivated. As I'm counting these 5, there should be 6. I've lost one. Never mind, probably with me marbles. So once again, thank you very much. Ta-da! Oh, hold on a minute. It's only a 5 stud. I haven't lost one. What am I thinking? I found my marbles again.